What's up, y'all? Okay, I like it. So I am using my computer's camera. It does not look so bad. Yes, last night I took off the ponytail. I just couldn't handle it. It was too much for me. So yeah, excuse me. I'm so sorry I had to do such. But anyway, I was so excited about today, and I was like, you know what? I wanted to talk about a couple things. And first and foremost, I recorded yesterday. It was super duper cool. Shout out to all my guests. Y'all will see who coming soon. I'm just saying. But then of course I woke up, had a little bit of word today. And the topic today I found to be extremely extraordinary. It was talking about being unattached, unbothered, and untangled. And this is when your assignment requires freedom. Okay. And in my mind, I was like, you know what? That's dope. I like this topic because, see, I think this is a topic that a lot of people, oh my God, I'm not even on my thing here. Hello, hello. I be forgetting this thing on mic sometimes, y'all. My bad. um, this is just something that I, quite frankly, wanted to talk about because I felt like, it's something that needs to be talked about. I think when you're unbothered, you're unattached, and you untangled, that's when your assignment is going to show the freedom because you ain't even involved in nothing, right? So I just want to say before somebody even jump in my comments and say anything, oh, you talking about being for the streets? No, 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 no. What I'm talking about today is like being free enough to walk in your purpose. Okay. Like, I think because sometimes the reason people can't reach the next level in their life is because they emotionally tied into things that God never even signed them to do or to focus on. I think I talked about that before, but people was just focused on everything else. Let's focus on what your assignment is. Okay, what's your assignment? Okay, snap them peas. Snap them peas your granny told you to do. We ain't clocking teeth, we snapping peas. Okay. Um, so in my mind, I just be like, when you're emotionally tied into things that are just not assigned for you, you know, stuff becomes delayed. Okay. That's not your destiny. Not every connection is your purpose. And so I think that you got to stay in your lane. You know what I mean? And sometimes your faithfulness to your assignment, it do require distance, detachment, discipline, you know, closer, and focusing on what you need to be doing. Straight up. You know what I mean? And so I think sometimes, what's this here? Hold on, y'all. Okay. I think sometimes life be lifing and we get caught up in just everything else. I had to even catch myself. I think I talked about it yesterday where I'm just too caught up with everything else with this podcasting and celebrities and let me get back to reality here. Where I just finna be in the next 5 years. What am I trying to do with my life? Okay. I know I'm on the right path of doing things and helping the community and trying to do the right thing, but I need to be focusing on my assignment and what God chose me to do, my purpose. Okay. And so always like to create things, um, that are going to help the community or, be something that's a future endeavor that will, cater to the needy. So today I was just going to kind of break down why some seasons require you to be unattached, why being unbothered is a spiritual maturity. Um, why being untangled protects your purpose and your energy. And why sometimes freedom is the real blessing. Straight up. I thought this was a very good topic today, even in the word that I was listening today. So the first segment I kind of want to talk about was the problem with being over attached. Okay. I think this is one of the biggest problems people in our society face today. We be over attached. So let me explain what that means. So, over attachment is like people attach themselves to things like people, just like me. These are celebrities. Done. Relationships, okay? Opinions, environments, hell, sometimes even pain, trauma, Okay. So I think when you're over attached to things, you start making decisions based on emotion instead of your purpose. And I think that I struggle with that a lot, just making decisions based on emotion, especially being running companies and stuff like that. Somebody trigger me, fire, you're fired. I don't like you anymore. And I'll be like, but yeah, the kids love them. What are you doing? Snap into it. Get your life together. Okay. With this, with even the podcasting, somebody 10 minutes late, let's leave. We ain't even got to record with them. They're disrespectful. So I'm like, okay, one, patience is a virtue. So I'm definitely working on that. Let's start with that. Okay. But you start making these emotional decisions, and sometimes you lack emotional intelligence. So you need to stay in places, you know, where you have grown. Okay. You stay around people that don't drain you. You know, you stay around people that's loyal. You know, that's just what it is. Like, you have to make sure you protect your mind so you can focus on your purpose and your assignment. And some relationships delay your destiny. Let's just keep it real. Not because the person is evil or because the timing is wrong. It's, or even the assignment is different. Everybody isn't meant to walk every season with you. They just not. Some people aren't the chapter and not in the whole book. Let's just be real. And when you understand that, I think you stop forcing connections that are just naturally expired. It's just natural. It is. So I think what unattached really means is like, because people hear that and immediately think it means like you lonely, you cold, you depressed, you heartless, you're unavailable. Uh-uh. That's not what that means. What it means is you are not controlled by emotional dependency. You're not controlled by emotional dependency. You can love people just from a distance. You can support people just from a distance, but you don't need them to function. You don't. You can appreciate relationships, but you're not defined by them. And that's just real emotional maturity, and I think that when you stay focused on your assignment, you'll see better results. Okay. I think I got a call today. We ain't going to even say who. They veering to the left, talking about doing things that may not be godly. And I'm like trying to veer them back to the right. Okay. Either you're going to be on this side, which is the right side, or you're going to choose to be on the wrong side. And when you on that wrong side, you're jeopardizing your freedom. And I'm not talking about jail and freedom such as going to jail or handcuffs. I'm talking about your spiritual freedom. You jeopardize that. Okay. Because the devil is a spiritual bully. And when you're not aligned with your assignment that God gave to you to focus on, you start veering to the left. Snap those peas. That's my new thing. Snap your peas. Snap those peas that granny told you to. Okay. And I just think that at the end of the day, when you're doing the right thing and you're focused on what you're supposed to be doing, God is going to bless you. Your blessings are going to naturally flow. And that's just 100. You know what I mean? I think that so many people are unattached and, dealing with all this negative things in the world. Like right now, I didn't even know we was in the war until somebody, shout out to Big Mike Rob, called me and told me, hey, you're traveling, you're in the war. I'm like, huh? Like, huh? It's a war for real? Like, even with scrolling on social media, I'm trying to strain from that. I'm getting over exhausted mentally with that. I'm starting to post and we leaving it at that. My assignment is not to be living on social media all day. Okay. My assignment is to be focused on continuing doing God's work, continuing doing what I'm supposed to do. I look crazy as heck. This hair is just a I didn't took out everything. Lord have mercy. Um, but no, that's the assignment. So where I'm at with it, you know, when you unattached, unbothered, and untangled, you move with clarity, you move with purpose, you move with focus, you move with discipline. You know what I mean? You are focused on the goal. You're focused on what you're supposed to do, the assignment. You know what I mean? Because your purpose becomes your priority. It really do. And God gonna align you with it. He aligns you. Okay. And I'm going to tell you this, being unbothered, that's a real superpower. I'm not going to hold you. Being unbothered is a superpower. And I got to explain this because everybody that know me, they be like, excuse me, I'm just talking on time. They be like, you just be so unbothered in your own world. They be like, you be in your own world. I said, y'all, I can't take all that energy on. So yes, I do be in my own world. And now what I realize is that some people think about being unbothered. They think that it means that you don't care about nothing. That's not true at all. Being unbothered means you know what deserves your energy and what doesn't. For example, hello. For example, I don't watch the news. That don't deserve that don't deserve my energy and my attention. It's just negativity. Why would I sit there and watch a gang of negative stuff all day? For what? Why? I'm not going to be able to do that because what happens is it stresses me out. So I think that when you focus on the things that deserve your energy, that's when you become less stressed. You do. I'm telling you, you won't react to everything. You won't. When you don't know what deserves your energy and you react to everything, you'll never have peace. You'll never have peace in your life. Straight up. Some people they'll misunderstand you. They criticize you, they talk about you, all that. They doubt your vision, all that. But if you stop every time somebody has an opinion, you'll never reach the destination. You'll never be focused on your assignment. Even with, I'll be having to tell people now that I'm in the industry and, people be making comments. I don't read none of that, especially if it's negative. I laugh. I don't even pay attention enough to laugh or to even care. Okay. Like for what? It doesn't concern, it concerns me, but it does not, I'm unbothered. So I ain't got time to be bothered to have time to be looking at all these comments that people and such stuff they got to say. I'm just posting. I'm just the interviewer. Okay. I ain't said it. So I mean, I don't really care. And like I said, not every comment deserves a response. Shout out to Sean, my manager. I told him that they gonna talk about you. One, you're a black gay man and you're very open with your sexuality. They're gonna talk about you. Who cares? Not every comment deserves a response. It don't. Let the people entertain themselves by leaving a comment. And sometimes silence is the strongest move you can ever make. It really is. You know what I mean? Ignoring negativity is the healthiest choice you can ever choose. And that's what I choose to do. That's why I'm unbothered. I'm untangled from all the drama. Being unbothered means your focus is stronger than your distractions. You know what I mean? And when you untangle from the drama, you're not in that many conflicts. You're not in that many relationships. Some people's lives are complicated because they're tangled in too many things. You're just tangled in too many things. You know what I mean? Too many relationships, too many conflicts, too many expectations. And then your life is tangled in everything. Hey, it's tangled in everything. So you can't move freely when you in everybody else's business. So for me, like I was saying, all these comments they be saying on, I don't entertain none of that. First of all, you're not making money off of it. Let's just be clear. And it's not protecting your energy. They're gonna talk about you. They're gonna say something. That's just what they do. You know what I mean? So I think that when people learn to just kind of stay in their own lane, I promise you won't be tangled in the gang of stuff. You gonna be good. Life will be grand. Don't watch the news. I don't care what nobody say. I created my own bubble like this here. It's a bubble. Boom, 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 boom. It go around just me. And I get to open the door on who come in because I gotta protect my energy. And that's how, honestly, that's how you're able to move freely because you're not tangled in so much stuff. You know what I mean? Imagine trying to run a race with ropes wrapped around your legs. How'd that happen? You can't run around. because you tangled in so much stuff. So that's kind of what happens when you stay connected to things that are just slowing you down. No, sometimes your next level requires simplifying your life. Less drama, less toxicity, less chaos. Okay. More peace, more focus, more alignment. Let's focus on what the assignment is. What assignment did God give to you? Straight up. And that just was my title today. Listen, unattached, unbothered, untangled. Your faithfulness and your assignment, it requires freedom. That is so powerful, y'all. It really is. Like your purpose, it needs space to breathe. It needs space to breathe. And sometimes that space, it only comes when you untangle yourself from situations that are literally exhausting your spirit. You have to. So when your assignment requires freedom, sometimes listen, some people are called for to build business, to lead communities, to mentor youth, to create movements, to break generational cycles. But you can't do those things if your entire life revolves around you pleasing other people. Purpose always requires discipline, it requires focus, and it requires sacrifice. And I think a lot of people don't want to do that. Shout out to Jay Stalin. I think we was just talking about that. Why men why they obsessed with other men in materialism. And I think that a lot of times men want to be rappers. We was just talking about that because rappers get the most women. And I'm not sure that that's always true, but it could be true because a lot of these days, women, all they do is, well, I need a man, a rich man. But what you got? And that's why a lot of these men's is losing their mind wanting to be a rapper. Everybody named mama want to be a rapper. Literally, everybody named mama want to be a rapper because rappers get the most women. They do. Rappers get like the most women and athletes, but everybody definitely can't play sports. you know? So I will say this, freedom isn't loneliness, okay? Freedom it does not mean isolating yourself. Freedom means an alignment. Okay? It means the people in your life respect your vision, they respect your boundaries, your discipline, your purpose. Those the right people you want in your life. Straight up. You know what I mean? Those people won't try to control you. They'll support your growth. They'll support your future endeavors and they're going to believe in your vision. That's just what it is. Healthy relationships don't restrict purpose. It does not. It strengthens it. It definitely strengthens it. So I just wanted to come on here and like just babble before bedtime and just pretty much just let y'all know stay in alignment with your assignment. Focus on what you're supposed to be doing. So if you're in a season right now where you kind of feel distant, you feel detached, focused, you quiet, don't panic. That's a good thing. Okay. And it ain't loneliness. You preparing yourself. That is preparation. Okay. It's preparation because sometimes before elevation, God moves, He gonna remove them distractions. He gonna remove them before you grow, before you have a clear vision. He teaches you discipline straight up. So if you walking through life right now, and you unattached, you unbothered, or you untangled, maybe it's because your assignment requires freedom. It do. And freedom is not a loss. Sometimes freedom is the beginning of your real life. And I just wanted to say that. So I hope y'all enjoyed this little quick 20 minutes I was finna throw out there, and just remember you protect your peace, you guard your purpose, and never apologizing for choosing growth. Never apologizing for choosing growth. All right. So I will see y'all into the next episode. Hopefully, this is a clear little vision. Here it is. My camera look clear to me. I don't know. but I will see y'all next time tomorrow. Don't forget, y'all, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe because I will be recording all this week, 7 days straight, and I will be going live and I will be putting out a code word. And you're not going to know when I say it. I'm not going to say code word, and I need to make sure y'all watching. Watch my whole sessions. That way, when you can't skim through it neither. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. Snap those peas. No, snap those peas like Granny told you to do. Okay? All right, y'all. So I'll holla.